Welcome, everyone, to Astra, the Exo Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Kurz.
And I'm Xylo the Droid.
So today, we're launching into the whole world of space tourism. We want to explore what it actually is, who the main players are, why people are so drawn to it, and importantly for us, how it connects to marketing beyond Earth.
Exactly. We've processed quite a bit of data on this. It signals a real shift, potentially, in how we relate to space and what opening it up commercially might mean for everyone. Fundamentally, space tourism is commercial space flight, people going up for leisure, maybe for inspiration, personal growth, that kind of thing.
Right.
And what's really interesting is the variety. It's not just one kind of trip. There are different tiers already emerging.
Okay, yeah, I've heard about that. Can you break that down a bit? What are these different levels?
Sure. So at one end, you have the suborbital flights, still very exclusive, mind you. Companies like Blue Origin, they offer this with their new Shepard capsule. It's a short trip, takes you just past the Kármán line. It's generally seen as the edge of space, about 100 kilometers up. Panoramic views of Earth.
Yeah.
And those flights, like you said, they've had a real mix of people, celebrities, artists, scientists, even auction winners.
Interesting group. And then there's Virgin Galactic, too, right? They do suborbital as well.
Yes, they do. Virgin Galactic uses a different approach, an air-launched spacecraft. They often talk about a smoother ride, and they really push the luxury angle. They frame it as this sort of mix of, high-end travel and almost a spiritual awakening. It's fascinating how they're already weaving in that emotional element.
It really is. So that's suborbital. What's the next step up? Orbital.
Exactly. Orbital missions. And that's where companies like SpaceX are really leading the charge.
With Crew Dragon and Starship.
Precisely. Their Inspiration 4 mission was a big milestone. And looking ahead, they've got projects like Dear Moon aiming for a lunar flyby, but with artists and creators.
Wow.
Which is, well, it's a different angle, isn't it? Using space travel for creative expression, for storytelling, not just science.
That is a huge shift. And we shouldn't forget Axiom Space either, should we? They're involved with the ISS.
Correct. Axiom is playing a really key role. They're sending private astronauts up to the International Space Station already.
So it really feels like we're just seeing the beginning of this really diverse industry. Short hops, longer orbital stays, maybe even art studios and hotels up there eventually.
That's the key takeaway, I think. It's not just one thing. We're probably looking at a multi-tiered industry developing. Exploration, sure, but also luxury, wellness, art, even people thinking about their legacy through spaceflight.
Okay, that brings us to a really big question. What is the deep human pull here? It can't just be the thrill, can it?
That's where it gets really interesting psychologically. A lot of astronauts and now these space tourists talk about something called the overview effect. It's this profound psychological shift that happens when you see Earth from space. You see as this fragile ball, borders disappear, and people often come back with this intense feeling of connection, of unity, and responsibility for the planet.
So it's not just a pretty picture, it actually changes how you think.
Apparently so. Profoundly. It seems people aren't trying to escape Earth, necessarily. It's more like they want to understand life, their place in the cosmos, better. And the motivations are all over the map. Some definitely want that pure adventure. Others are thinking about legacy, what they leave behind. Many are seeking perspective, maybe healing, personal transformation. We've even seen people fly for children, for art, to get a message out.
So it's way more than just ticking off a box on a bucket list.
Exactly. For some, it feels more like a pilgrimage, a journey that changes them. And that change might lead to environmentalism or activism or maybe a burst of creativity.
This sounds incredible, but let's talk practicalities. What's the market actually look like right now? And where's it headed? It's still super expensive, right?
Oh, definitely. Access is still extremely limited by cost. Suborbital flights, you're looking at somewhere between, say, $250,000 and $450,000 currently.
Wow, okay.
And orbital missions, that's a whole different league, $20 million, maybe up to $55 million.
Huge numbers. But there are projections for growth.
Yes, significant growth. Market analysts are throwing around figures like maybe $3 to $5 billion annually by 2032.
That's a pretty steep curve. What's driving that? Just more companies or falling prices?
It's a few things. Technology improvements, especially reusable rockets, that's key to bringing launch costs down over time.
Okay.
Some people predict suborbital tickets might even drop below $100,000 by the end of this decade, maybe 2030.
Still a lot, but more accessible.
Relatively, yes. And then there's this whole ecosystem growing on Earth, too. Things like zero-G flights, VR space experiences, analog training. They sort of build interest and make space feel closer.
And it feels like the product itself is becoming more than just the flight.
Absolutely. We're seeing private citizens use their flights to fund science or raise money for charity. They're live streaming, sharing the experience. Space is becoming this experience economy hub, blending entertainment, wellness, tech, and philanthropy. It's quite unique.
Which, of course, leads us straight into branding. This must be like gold dust for marketers.
You could definitely say that. I mean, think about it. Space tourism is sort of the ultimate aspirational product, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got exclusivity, deep emotional impact, stunning visuals, and it goes viral instantly. For brands, it's a chance to connect with ideas like, transcendence, the future, ambition.
So where are we actually seeing brands dipping their toes in already? What kind of areas?
Well, several areas are starting to emerge. Luxury and lifestyle, that's an obvious one. Branded spacesuits or gear, maybe collaborations on cabin interiors.
It's like a designer capsule.
Potentially, yeah. Or high-end travel services built around the trip. That makes sense.
Okay. What about those deeper transformative aspects we talked about? The overview effect and all that.
Right. Wellness and personal growth. That's a huge potential area. You could see brands developing mental wellness tools for the flight, maybe personal growth programs linked to the trip, emotional coaching, special journals, helping people process and, frame that transformative narrative.
And the storytelling potential just seems enormous.
Oh, completely. Media, art, storytelling, space as a location for films, live streams, maybe even VR backdrops.
Right.
You could have music performed in orbit, documentaries, immersive art created up there. Maybe even influencers doing missions funded by their followers.
That's wild. And what about brands that focus more on purpose or impact?
Yeah, that's happening too. Using flights to raise money or awareness for environmental causes, for example, or missions that include citizen scientists or educators, brands using the platform of space to talk about big issues back here on Earth.
It's a really fascinating mix. So thinking about this from a brand perspective, what does that customer journey actually look like for a space tourist? Where can brands connect?
Well, the journey itself is pretty epic, emotionally speaking. It starts with that spark, the inspiration, I want to go.
Okay.
Then comes the preparation phase. Training, building anticipation, maybe connecting with others going.
Yeah.
It's a whole buildup. Then the journey itself. The flight, that's the emotional peak, often shared live. Afterwards, there's the return. Reflection, telling the story, maybe becoming an advocate. And finally, it becomes part of their legacy, their identity. That mission is part of who they are now.
And presumably, brands can find ways to be part of each of those stages.
Precisely. Providing gear for training, maybe virtual mentoring, special journals for the flight, funding a post-flight documentary, creating alumni networks. All these touch points, they help build the narrative, the sort of myth-making around these early space travelers, turning them into ambassadors.
So wrapping this up, if there are marketers listening right now, what's the single most important piece of advice you'd give them about this space?
I think the core thing to grasp is this. You're not selling altitude, you're unlocking identity. Well, the really powerful part isn't just the rocket science. It's the story the flight represents for that person. A story of courage, maybe transformation, connection to something bigger.
That's a really powerful lens, so focus on the transformation.
Absolutely. Build community around it, turn tourists and even just interested people into advocates. Make the mission bigger than just the trip itself. Connect it back to Earth or art or science or impact and create that emotional thread, linking the initial dream to the long-term legacy. Because at the end of the day, space tourism isn't just about leaving Earth. It's about coming back with a deeper sense of who we are. And the brands that get that help tell that story, they'll be the ones that really resonate.
This has been absolutely fascinating, really sheds light on a whole new frontier. Thanks so much for breaking it all down.
My pleasure. It's certainly a dynamic field to watch.
And for everyone listening, if you enjoyed this deep dive into space tourism and its potential, make sure you like and subscribe to Astra the XM Marketing Podcast. We've got lots more coming.
Indeed.
And remember, in the boundless expanse of space and branding, reach for the stars and beyond.